Erin, have you seen Last Night in Soho yet?
No, but I want to so badly. I love Edgar Wright's movie.
Me too. The trailer makes the movie look very interesting, but I'm not too sure what to expect from it.
Well, we have Ryan here to tell us his thoughts on the recent release.
Tell us about it, Ryan.
Hey sneak peekers. I had the chance to watch director Edgar Wright's newest film, Last Night in Soho, this past weekend, and I wanted to tell you all about it. So let's jump right into it. Edgar Wright is one of my favorite directors. His filmography is filled with stylized genre classics, including Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, and Baby Driver. So when he decided to take on a horror movie, taking inspiration from films like Blow Up and Repulsion, there was a lot to be excited about. Last Night in Soho follows Eloise as she moves to London to attend university and study fashion, with the hopes of becoming a designer. Eloise begins to have dreams where she's in the 1960s London district of Soho, and these nightmares slowly begin to haunt her everyday life. There's a lot to love here. First off, I think the most incredible thing about this film is the visual style and cinematography. Wright has always been a director with a key visual style and has been praised for keeping visual comedy alive in an age where most comedies look bland and uninteresting. But Wright is stepping into the horror game here, and for that, he recruited Chung Chung to be the cinematographer. Chung is a Korean cinematography legend, shooting some of the best Korean films in recent memory, including The Handmaiden, Stoker, and Oldboy, as well as shooting Hollywood films like It and Me, Earl, and the Dying Girl. Here, Chung creates bold and haunting images that perfectly capture what Wright is going for. Neon-soaked frames with incredible in-camera tricks that make the whole movie a treat for the eyes. Add in incredible production design and editing on top of that, and you've got yourself a technical winner. In front of the camera, you also have a winning cast. Thomasin McKenzie of Leave No Trace and Jojo Rabbit plays our lead, Eloise, and she really captures the slow turn to insanity well. But the two cast members who really steal the show are Anya Taylor-Joy and acting legend Diana Rigg. Rigg, an Emmy and Tony winner, really shines in a film that also serves as a perfect swan song for her last performance. She passed away September 2020 and will be truly missed, but this is definitely a good showcase of her long-lasting talent. Anya Taylor-Joy of Split and The Queen's Gambit plays 1960s aspiring singer Sandy, and her performance is incredibly haunting. Filling out the rest of the cast is Doctor Who's Matt Smith, Attack the Block's Michael Ajao, and Oscar nominee Terrence Stamp, who all give great performances as well. Between all the talent in front of and behind the camera, Last Night in Soho should be a masterpiece. And yet it's not. Don't get me wrong, I like this movie and had a lot of fun with it, but fun is the key word here. While there is an underlying, frightening story happening, ultimately, Wright as a filmmaker is too fun to ever be truly scary. The beginning hour of this movie is wonderful, and I personally love the ending too, but the middle of the film drags, and Wright simply repeats the same few scares over and over. As a narrative, the film's interesting, but as a horror film, I was never really scared. The jump scares were used far too often and were just disappointing coming from Wright, who I love and know is capable of far more. I think the script definitely could have used some work. There are some wonderful ideas here, but it maybe could have used some more thought in the scares themselves. The themes got muddled some as well, although I did find the theme of nostalgia becoming dangerous interesting coming from Wright, whose career has been built on meta takes on genre films. That being said, this was still a fun ride. I would still recommend this film, especially if you're a fan of Wright's filmography. It's one that has certainly left me thinking, which is more than most horror films do nowadays, unfortunately enough. I also would recommend seeing this projected on film. If you're in the Austin area, there are 35mm projections in the area, and seeing that way was really cool and helped sell the 60s aesthetic. Overall, while there are interesting themes and great elements in Last Night in Soho, the script kept me from falling in love with this film the way I did some of Wright's previous films. That being said, I still recommend it, giving it 3.5 out of 5 stars. That's all from me,